Hello and welcome to Love Talk. Today we're talking about commitment issues, when the person is too afraid to commit. And we have to say that even though men are usually the champions at this, women also have commitment issues sometimes.
Yes, usually women have issues because of an abusive past relationship and other more serious reasons. But men are actually the ones that, you know, like to run a mile or 2 miles from commitment.
We have a couple who came to reenact what happens many times in couples as when they're struggling with this fear of committing. And perhaps what you're going to see here is something you've experienced, you've been through. But hopefully when the program is over, you'll be able to overcome any fear that you may have of committing to a relationship that may have a good future. We went to the streets of London to see what people had to say about this. Let's have a look, we'll be right back.
Just tell me something, what are your views on marriage?
Marriage?
Do you believe in marriage?
I don't know, because like most people in my family, well, they just get married for like the superficial things, like, I don't know, because everyone else gets married. But a lot of people in my family are not married and they're in long-term relationships, so I don't know, I think it's expensive and overrated.
Okay, would you want to marry someday?
I don't know, I really don't know. I'm quite independent right now.
So career comes first at the moment?
Yeah, I would say so.
I think marriage is a really special thing between two people, and like when you've got that connection with someone, when you're in love, when it's just so special, I think marriage is like the icing on the cake.
Wonderful, I like this answer. Okay, and tell me two things that are good, two things that you say are good about being single and two about being married.
I guess something most people would say is good about being single is the freedom it gives you, because then you've got enough freedom to go out and do whatever you want, go wherever you want, see whoever you want. Another thing is that I suppose you're just looking out for yourself, so you don't have to constantly have someone else on your mind. You're not always...
The responsibility then.
Yeah, the responsibilities.
What about in marriage? Tell me two good things.
The intimacy, it's a kind of unique relationship that you have with that one person, and it's just really special. Also, I guess being married has its perks as well. It might be a bit, you might have a bit more responsibility, but I think it's worth it.
If you could go back in time, would you remain single or would you marry her again?
I would marry her again, definitely.
Wonderful. So marriage is a good thing in your opinion?
We were together for 18 years and then we got married and we're having a ball.
Okay. Tell me two things about marriage that are really, really good that singles cannot have.
That singles cannot have? Well, all night, it's the cuddles, at least you're in bed. It's the, what would you call the unison? I would imagine, yeah, together and friendship. The more
You've got someone with you forever.
That's it, mate. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got someone here who really, really is, you know, for marriage.
And yeah, we have fun. We go out together. We do. Yeah, you can do it single as well, but
it's different, isn't it?
It is. It's very different.
Thank you so much for your opinion, sir. Thank you.
No, it's great. Thank you. You have a good day.
I think it's more to what the individual wants. Like, if it suits them.
Would you marry?
Yes, if I found the right person, then yes.
What about you?
I agree. I also enjoy marriage. Not that I'm married right now, but I'd like to get married in the future.
So you're not against marriage?
No, not at all. But it has to be right.
Welcome back. So, commitment issues. Usually the rule of thumb is that the man is the one who doesn't want to commit. That's usually the rule of thumb. Although, you know, nowadays it's almost a 50-50 situation. And the truth is, you know, when there are commitment issues, there's usually a reason behind that, right, Helena? We sometimes it's because of a trauma, something that happened. What do you think happens with women? What do you think the commitment issues are?
It's like this, okay? She was betrayed. This is what we hear a lot when we advise people. It's this. She's betrayed, or something happened to her, the boyfriend wasn't sincere, or something really bad happened. Then she creates this barrier around her,
this
like
shield.
Yeah, you know, no one will ever do this to me, which I understand. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't want to be cheated on over and over. You have to wise up, isn't it? And move on. But some people, they dwell on it.
Yeah.
They don't believe that other people will be different.
Yeah. And with men, you know that men always take a little bit longer to mature than women. And sometimes, while the woman wants to settle down, the girl wants to settle down, the guy still wants to play with his toys.
Yeah.
He wants to, you know, enjoy life. He wants to be a lad. He wants to play football on the weekends, which is nothing wrong with it. But he wants to live, to still live that lifestyle. And he doesn't want to let that go.
You know, James, I was even reading an article. On Marie Claire. And look, this is from a man's perspective. Some reasons why they don't like the word commitment. Okay, the word even sounds like, ooh, doesn't sound good.
Not all men, let's not generalize,
Yes.
not all men, but some.
Yes, please. One of them is, none of his friends are committed. So he's afraid, as this, you know, commitment means growing up, and they don't want to be the first ones to be committing amongst the friends. Another reason is he still wants to play the field. He has other priorities in mind. He's afraid it will not work out because they see it as like an investment, like financial especially.
Yeah.
There's a lot of costs in a wedding and everything. And of course, too much pressure from girlfriend.
And one of the points you mentioned there, that he has other priorities in his mind, something we hear a lot. We hear lots of people saying like this, look, I need to get a better job first before I commit. Then he gets the job and then he says, listen, I need to cement this job first before
But this happens to women
I
a
commit.
lot.
Of course, as well. And then when he secures the job, the permanent
something
contract,
else.
something else. Well, now there's a promotion going around. I need to deal with that first. So there's always something.
Yes.
Sometimes there isn't a trauma, but either for the woman or the man, there's always a priority. When a relationship is a priority.
It is, because, you know, speaking from a woman's perspective, we've seen many women coming to us for advice where they don't know what to do. It's, do I carry on focusing and investing in my career or in my love life? But, you know, when we tell them, what do you want? When we ask them and they say, I really want both, but guess what? You have to meet halfway. You can't just...
And sometimes, Helena, the person is waiting for a gap in their life where nothing happens so they can focus only in that relationship.
It's not going to happen.
And guess what? It's never going to happen. That gap doesn't exist because unless you're happy living on the dole, living off the government and benefits, and you don't do anything with your life, then there will always be something happening. There's your career, there's your studies, and there's always going to be something. The important thing is for you to try to reconcile the commitment, the relationship with your life, actually the two lives together.
Yes, you know, it's difficult. You can't have 100% of both worlds. If you want to be like many that we talk to, I want to be a mother. I'm already, you know, the clock is ticking. Again, the clock. But then I love my career. Then you have to, you know, compromise somewhere and maybe pick up afterwards from where you left off.
So we spoke
like
about when the man or the woman has other priorities in his mind. Something also very important, and this is a big alarm bell. Just be careful that lack of commitment, there may be a reason behind it, and a reason not because of a trauma, but a reason because there's something going on, something he wants to hide or she wants to hide from you. We're not trying to make you doubt the person, but there's a lot of reasons why people don't want to commit.
There is always a reason behind it. You know, there are serious reasons behind it, but there are also, you know, childish reasons behind it, like, oh, I still want to play the field, you know.
And the person has to think of it like this. Listen, when you find someone that is really special to you, someone that, you know, this person is amazing, you've never had anybody like that in your life. It's like finding a diamond.
Are you talking about me there?
A little bit. Of course. But imagine, I read that recently they found a diamond worth, I think, $20 million, something like that, one diamond. Now think about it, you find a diamond worth $20 million. Are you really going to be playing with it and saying, listen, I'll come back and get you tomorrow. Listen, I'll think about if I want to carry you around. You don't do that. You take that diamond and you protect it because you found it, and you know there is nothing like that around. Think about that before we go to our break. We're going to see what's happening in the world of celebrity gossip. When we come back, we're going to have Danny and Rebecca sitting in the Love Lab couch, and you're going to see what the issues are there with commitments. We'll be right back.
There is a lot happening this week in the love lives of our celebrities. Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux say they feel hitched now, so why have a wedding? However, the Friends actress shut down any rumours about the cancellation of her wedding to Justin, as they haven't even set a date yet. They quote, "We just want to do it when it's perfect." Meanwhile, across the seas, Denise Van Outen and Lee Mead confirm that they have finally split and ended their 4-year marriage due to falling out of love because of their busy work schedules. However, all is not lost as the pair remain the best of friends, putting their 3-year-old daughter as number one priority. Relationships blossoming and marriages ending. It just goes to show that not all celebrities have the perfect love life after all. So that's it for Celebrity Gossip. See you next week.
Welcome back. Now we're going to enter a different section of the show called the Love Lab. We should have our lab coats here, right? But we have a couple.
Yes, we do.
A normal couple, Danny and Rebecca, that are going to reenact what happens a lot in couples.
Yes, and we are going to be commenting on everything that they'll be saying and giving you some advice as well. I mean, giving them some advice, although they can't hear us, but...
That's right. Let's see if Danny and Rebecca are pretty much what is happening in your relationship right now.
Let's see.
So we're just having this same conversation again then?
Only because you want to keep having a conversation. I'm happy as it is.
It's just really hard. It's like 2 of my best mates have just got engaged. And look, I know we've talked about it before, but it's just really hard because everyone's saying to me all the time, "Oh, when's he going to pop the question?"
Why does it matter? Why does it matter what they have to say, or what their opinions are, or anything like that? This is between you and me. Do you know what I mean?
So if we can stop right there, you can see that the first thing that Danny said was, "I thought everything was fine. Everything is okay, right?" And for the man, whether he's married, whether he's engaged or he's just dating, he's always okay. Usually the man doesn't want to talk about it. He's okay, right?
Things are not okay, but for them, in their mind, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But women, you know that. You are married men. We have the need to talk about things. But something that I noticed, I'm sorry to cut in on you, James, is that she is comparing herself to her friends. That's already a bad start.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's your relationship. You know, no relationship is the same, and you should not be putting pressure on him because your friends are moving on.
That's right. And actually, you were saying that women like to talk. And just an advice, Danny, if when a woman says, "We've got to talk," then you've got to talk, right? Even if you don't want to talk, it's a good idea for you to stop a little bit and hear what she has to say. And maybe you're not going to say a lot, but just hearing her is important. And it's important what you said, that the woman should not compare herself to her friends, but a woman wants to be in a committed relationship. So the advice for the woman is, don't compare yourself. For the man, if she says, "We've got to talk," we've got to talk. Let's see what else is happening.
We have been together for 11 years now.
Yeah, and you know what they say, if it ain't broken, it don't need fixing. So why do we need to make it more of a commitment by getting married and everything else like that? It doesn't really matter to us though, does it? I mean, we love each other, so why do we need to...
Yeah, I know that, but I just...
What?
You know that I would like that. You know I would. We've spoken about it before.
Yeah, but you know my views on it. my parents got divorced. I just feel like as soon as you get engaged or married and anything else like that happens, things just go wrong.
Yeah, but it
just
doesn't
goes
have
wrong.
to.
It's just sod's law. If it happens, it happens, then we break up. I mean, do you really need it?
Why would we?
If we can stop right there,
most of the time.
you can see something really, really important there for the woman to understand in this case, is that he's afraid to commit because of something bad that happened to his parents in the past, right? And we don't want to get too psychological about this, but it's
That's
usually
one of the reasons why, but it's not one of the main reasons.
yeah,
though.
but usually there
But
is a reason behind why the person doesn't want to commit, whether it's a man or a woman. And if he says that, then maybe you need to deal with that.
And also, if you look at his body language, he seems to be very comfortable. When he talks about it, it's like, all he needs to do is to, why are we talking about this anyway? But the thing is, think with me, why would he want to marry you if he already has everything? You live together, you cook for him, you look after him, you clean the house, you have intimacy together, you know what I mean? He's got everything, so in his mind, why marrying? It's just a piece of paper.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not his main reason here, but that's what happens to many couples.
yeah, we are assuming all these things, all these things of living together and cooking. We are assuming that, but it's important what you said, because marriage usually takes it to another level, whether it's marriage or engagement, and you need to see that it's important that those steps are taken and that both of you feel the need to take that step, not just one. So although there is an issue from his side because of his family, you also need to see that there has to be a need from both sides for the relationship to move forward. Let's see what else is happening.
And I just feel having to put this ring on because you got pressure from outside sources is just not a good.
It's not
excuse
just
to get
that.
married.
It's not just that.
You're just falling to peer pressure.
No, it's not just that. But it's kind of like, it just makes me think, well,
And it's expensive.
That could be us.
It's really expensive.
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't
basically
have to
feeding
be.
people for free, and they can come down and have a little party, and then we just, all for the sake of having the
But it's not
wedding
about. I'm not
certificate.
talking about the wedding day. I'm actually talking about being married to you. Don't you want that?
We've got a house together. What else do you want?
Can I just stop? Can I just stop here? I have another comment actually. You see how times have changed. Some years ago, many years ago. I mean, not that many ago. It was an honor for a man to ask a woman to marry her, isn't it? To marry him.
And now she's begging him.
Now she's begging him, and this is something. Don't get me wrong. I understand. 11 years in a relationship. If it was you,
I'd be out the door.
Long, you would. But you know what I mean. It's like I can understand that she's like getting frustrated. But you see how times have changed.
Yeah, and he said, look, why have a party? It's expensive, and like she said, it doesn't have to be. I mean, the marriage is a ceremony that doesn't have to be expensive. But by the way, when we speak about commitment, we're not just talking about marriage, because sometimes you are dating someone, you are with someone, you've been with a person for 10 years, but you're not committed. There are people who are married but are not committed. You've signed the paper, you wear the ring, but you're not committed because you're more concerned and busier with things that you want to do than investing in your marriage. So let's not make a mistake that getting married solves everything, because it doesn't. It doesn't solve everything. It's an important part of the relationship, but it doesn't solve the problems.
And just before we go back to the video, very quickly, I believe that her frustration is also not the wedding dress and what, because that's normal. Many women dream of that day. But when you ask your girlfriend, your fiancé to marry you, you make her feel special. It's like, I don't want anyone else. You are the person for me. That's it. I'm set. I want to settle down with you. I want to be happy, have a family. It means a lot more than a dress and spending a lot of money on a wedding.
The woman feels honored, right?
Exactly.
Let's go back and see the last part of this video.
What?
I don't know.
It would just really know. That's the thing. I don't think it's going to change anything in this wedding. I mean, really, you know.
I just think it would just say something, wouldn't it? That you're willing to commit to me.
I'm willing to commit.
I'm
commit
to you, and it's just
11 years. I mean, that's it.
No, I know that, but it just cements it that little bit more, doesn't it?
Exactly, a little bit more. Not really enough to warrant a whole, you know, elaborate wedding and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It's just not really worth it. It's not going to change anything between
Well,
us,
I
right?
think it would, actually.
You really think, what's it going to do?
Yeah, I think
love
it
me a little bit
would.
more because you're wearing something around your
It's just
thing?
a
I get you
commitment,
ring.
isn't it? It's a commitment. That is what it is. It's a
I'm committed
commitment
to you
from
anyway.
one person to another person saying that they want to spend the rest of their lives
We
with
see each
them.
other pretty much every day. We live together. I mean, what? That is commitment. Having a wedding ring and being married and everything else won't change anything. You go deeper, you can change your name tomorrow. You can be...
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I mean? We can change it all and you'll be sorted.
I just don't want to be in this situation, you know, in another 11 years' time.
By
That we
time,
still haven't.
You know,
I'd like to be
22
able-
years then, isn't it?
I'd like
Still
to be
worried
able
about
to-
being married. I mean, what difference does it make? Seriously.
Every time we start to have this conversation, I don't think I'm pressurising you that much. I'm really not. But even if I just start to mention it, then I can physically see you getting stressed and worked up, and I don't want that. It shouldn't be like that. We should be able to sit down.
If you don't talk about it ever, then I won't ever feel that way. We'll be alright. We'll just get on with our life as we are.
Well, she's saying I'm not pressurizing you, but actually she is, right? But just an important point, Helena, when they were talking about how important commitment is. Let's not talk about marriage. Let's talk about commitment. You know, how important is it? It's like buying a house. Why do you buy a house? Because you don't want to rent anymore. Because when you're renting, you could be out the door any day. Your landlord changes his mind, he doesn't want to rent the house to you anymore. You're out of a house. But when you have your own house, it's not a house anymore, it's a home. When you are committed to someone, whether you're married or you're in that relationship and you're committed, then you have security. You feel good in that relationship.
And also, I agree with what you're saying. It's very, very true. I mean, I couldn't have put it in a better way. But also, if you notice her, you know, a big part of her frustration is what? Imagine, 11 years have gone. And she's feeling like, my God, you know, the clock is ticking. Maybe she wants to be a mother, have a family, I don't know. But it's like this, yeah? When you are dating, women, we like to do this, okay? I hope I'm not going to offend any woman at home, but we know we are like this. We like to think that we can change things. But if you see, you need to be true to yourself. If you see that the person is not marriage material in a sense that they don't want to get married.
Or they don't want to be committed.
They don't want to be committed, exactly. Or maybe you can start talking about it at an earlier stage, not wait for 11 years to go by or even 5, and maybe address his issue, which is, you know, from his past. He had problems with his family, you know, and everything. So you need to address that. But if you see that the person is a no, I don't want to commit, this is the life I want, and you want something else, then you just have to move on.
And the thing is, just to finalize this, you know, someone is going to be unhappy in a non-committed relationship. One of them may be happy with it, but if you're not happy, then you have 2 options. Either you wait around and you try to be happy while that person could change, or then you decide to move on. It may be painful, but then, you know, you can have the opportunity of being with someone who wants to be with you, who wants to commit to you. So the choice is there. What you can't do is what Rebecca was doing, of pressurizing that commitment. And she said, no, I'm not pressurizing you. Actually, she was. So that doesn't really work. So there you have the typical couple arguing about commitment issues. One wanting to force the issue, the other one wanting to step back. Elena, what should a woman do?
Well, you know me by now. I am all for prevention. Don't get me wrong. I know I say that a lot, but it's the truth. you have to, I know that maybe the person is the person, oh, he's so handsome, he has all the qualities, but he's not ticking the main boxes. Okay, which is he doesn't have the same goals in life. Maybe you dream of having a family, having children by a certain age. I don't know, you have a plan. But maybe he's still enjoying himself, you know, chasing girls and living that life of freedom, you know, and you still go ahead, get involved with him. And then a year goes by, 2 years, 5, 10, and you're still frustrated. You become frustrated because you can't change people.
And let's not forget that the women also have commitment issues. It's not just the guy that doesn't want to commit. Sometimes it's the woman. Sometimes the guy's ready to settle down. But one thing is for sure, and this is the most important part. You cannot force someone to commit. And even if you do, even if you get to the point that you manage to get the person to commit because you were so forceful about it, that person is not going to be happy. So here's the solution. Like Helena said, you either find out from the beginning if that is something, if that relationship is something where both want to commit, or then you might as well, I wouldn't say cut your losses, but if you see that you are unhappy, and the other person also becomes unhappy because you're trying to push something that the other person doesn't want to do, then there are two options. Either you get to the point that you accept that fact and you try to be happy with that fact, but if you can't do that, then perhaps it's time for you to move on. And maybe you'll find out that being by yourself for a while, or him being by yourself for a while, or vice versa, is not that bad. Actually can be a healing process for you to start something new again. We're not saying for you to stay or to go. We're just saying forcing an issue, whether it's marriage, engagement, never works. Never will. It may work in the beginning apparently, but eventually the person may resent you for what you forced him to do or her to do, and the cracks are going to appear and things are going to crumble. So that's the advice. We hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. We'll be back with you again next week. Until then, have a wonderful night.